Ron.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome to Positive Partners.
Hello.
Here with Tom Heiskell. He is
Right.
a dog training professional and I'm a dog enthusiast.
Yes.
And I've had plenty of experience with my dogs and how to train different things.
And we're talking about house training, puppy training, and we have one of your dog, Rosalind.
Right. So the best, usually whenever you're trying to start your relationship with your dog, it's probably with a puppy of young age or whatever, but this would apply to shelter dogs you might bring home or rehomed dogs, a dog that might be rehomed that previously lived outside, now is bringing inside.
Good point.
So this applies to all those situations, but you know, in my just recent situation, you know, we just got a little shelter puppy. This is a puppy training thing, but the same rules apply.
It's the same process.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna look at a video, and this is a few different shots that I shot. Some things you'll see, and we'll talk over this, are signals that they do want to go out. Now she is, I'd say, 90% house trained.
And how old is she now?
She's 4.5 months old, and she's been good for a while. And over this time of house training, we've probably had 4 accidents.
Mm-hmm. So you've supervised really carefully, and you're very fortunate because you can go home at lunch as well. That's
so
really
she doesn't
makes
have
it easier.
much longer than 4 hours to wait before we take her out. So this video is Rosalind, so we'll leave the microphones on and I'll tell you what we're doing here. And this is a typical way to house train. You press play, here we go. All right, she is waiting by the door and hoping somebody notices. We're sitting at the dinner table and she sees, hey, what's this thing in your hand? It's a camera.
She gives you a lip lick. Yeah. Hey.
Okay, okay, can you notice me? I know you're holding this camera. It's like, how about you over there? My wife's sitting there. So she wants something.
And then
all right,
she
so I'm going to go to the door and sit here.
And look at you.
It's like,
and look at
okay,
your wife.
somebody noticed me, and now she's going to bark. Okay, so she's barking. She's barking again. And now climbing on the door. It's like, I really need to go out here, people. So, clawing at the door, and so we just let her out. And we have a fenced yard. I wouldn't do that if we didn't have a fenced yard. And so this is the yard, and she goes.
That was quick.
And, right, so immediately right after she does her business, you get her a treat. Now she's used to it, so she's not as excited for the treat, but she loves them. And one of the points with dogs, you have to make immediate corrections. You can't wait to tell them no or whatever. This is my whole pack, including my wife. I don't know if you want to say my wife's part of the pack. But the important thing to see here is the way she's acting. Now, before she's house trained, this is what kind of stuff you're going to see inside the house. When you see them with their nose on the ground, looking around like this, you better get up and take them outside. So you can see her, she's checking out the ground, and in that case it would be your carpet. It's like, uh-oh, yeah, it's impending, and so you better take this dog out. But she's out, and she's going to do her business.
We'll be talking about some other things that they might do as well. Yeah.
Right, so she does her thing. You have the treats already in your pocket. You're prepared for this, and you treat her right now. And she knows that whatever I did right this minute was good. And that's Rosalind, our new little mixed breed puppy we got from the Gallia County shelter.
Nicely done, yeah.
And along with the immediate praise, if they do have an accident inside, you want to immediately say something like, no, bad dog. If you don't catch them and they do it, you have to catch them in the act. You can't wait an hour, and when you notice there's a pile or a wet spot on the carpet, you don't want to wait for a while to go, hey, that's bad.
Yeah, you have to, we'll talk about that. You have to give information immediately, and you mentioned that you had very few accidents. That's because you've taught Rosalind what works, and you've supervised very closely.
Right.
And we'll talk about when you see we'll talk about accidents, because we'll go through it. There's actually a cycle. Like nature is in cycles, and certainly house training is in cycles. And you were saying for the first, you're pretty busy when you're house training, right?
Yeah, I
for
didn't
the first,
get a whole lot done. I mean, a lot of my video production and things. Just
no, but I meant, yeah, okay, during...
Because this is what you're doing.
This is what
your
you're
life.
doing for...
When you come home and all that evening, you've got one eye on the dog and one eye on the TV maybe, and if she disappears, like, where'd she go?
Yeah, well, we'll talk about supervision and ways to make that a little easier as well when you're busy, as we are. Okay.
And then the other thing, too, is, you know, you might think your dog knows your language, but the dog doesn't know your language. She doesn't know what no or yes or good means initially. It has to learn your language, and what dogs may respond more to is tone.
Right.
Like a mean, big, gruff tone.
We'll talk about that with the guilty look, and we'll talk about that dogs need, they want to work with us. That's the way they were raised. That's why they've been with us for 20,000 years.
Right.
And
so just
we
keep
have
that
to
in
help
mind.
them be successful, communicate clearly and communicate what works. People who focus on communicating what doesn't work, then they leave the burden on the dog to figure out what does work. So that's and we're talking about house training here. House training problems are a reason why dogs end up in shelters. It's 1 out of 6 dogs in a shelter. House training problems are part of the reason that they got there, and
training problems in general is probably a larger percentage than that.
Yes, oh, very much.
Well, they tore up the carpet or the furniture or whatever.
Yeah, half dogs in shelters are there because of some sort of behavior difficulty. And so what we're doing here is presenting information that will give you actual step-by-step ways to successfully go through a normal house training process and make your life with your dog more enjoyable, and maybe even help you keep your dog there successfully at home where you want them.
Right. Because it may be a pain right now.
It's a lot of work.
But it pays off.
It is a pain.
It pays off for the next 10 to 15 years of a good dog.
Right.
Just those couple months of training, you know, and we're putting in the stuff of sit and down and all this stuff.
All those things.
All the obedience stuff. Yeah, I think it's fun personally.
Yeah, it is fun.
But
you get communication, and your dog makes eye contact with you, and that's partly why it's easier to read your dog's signals, because your dog's looking at you in the eyes. Hey, yeah, you know, you, the door.
Right.
You, over here.
Exactly. So take the time and do these things, and you'll have a lot better experience with your dog.
Definitely. So we'll go into some tutorial kind of stuff. Now this goes quickly. This is packed with information, but this will take you through reward-based, success-based training. So we'll roll a little video here that goes through what's the cycle. The when, how, rewarding, when do you give them freedom, supervision, and how do you deal with accidents. And I've narrated this previously, so we'll listen to that.
Hello, today we're talking about house training. We're talking about when to go outside, how to get the best results when you do go outside, how to reward your dog effectively, how to give them freedom when they come in after a successful outing, supervision after they've come in.
Just be on me.
And what to do when there are accidents.
Just be on me. So as in things in nature, nature's always a cycle, and certainly voiding is a cycle. So there are some things that are really important to know about general dog development, physiology, and so forth. So there's a little clip about that. It's about 1.5 minutes, and we'll go through that, and then we will do some discussion of that.
Today we're talking about house training, what to know in general and what to know at each point in the cycle. Young puppies can hold it for about an hour when they're resting quietly, 2 or 3 hours at age 10 or 12 weeks, 4 months or 16 weeks, 4 or 5 hours, up to about 8 hours at some point. For many dogs, some more, about their age in months plus an hour. House training can require a few months up to 8 months. Clean messes completely. An enzyme solution eliminates the odor, while vinegar doesn't, ammonia doesn't. It's part of urine. Feed solid food 3 times daily for younger puppies, twice daily at about age 4 months. Follow your vet's recommendations. Take up uneaten food after 20 minutes, which gives plenty of time to eat. Scheduled feeding provides structure and gives you predictability about when the dog will need to go, provides you an opportunity to do training, makes you a source of a valuable resource. Avoid punishment, because that can make a puppy feel anxious about voiding in front of you, and teach them to find a spot to void where you can't see them. Then you're not there to distract and redirect them outside where they can go successfully. Keep a record of when the puppy goes and the progress. Everyone in the family should use the same words and routine. Starting at the top of the cycle, when do you take them out?
Okay, so when to go out?
That'll be coming up. With feeding twice a day, or with a younger puppy 3 times a day, that's helpful. A lot of people free feed. And when you free feed, there's a cycle. And so if you're feeding 2 or 3 times a day, you have a pretty good idea when the transit time will be taken care of. So
I kind of look at them, it might be crude, but I kind of look at them as a tube.
Yeah.
You put stuff in, stuff's going to come back out.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's there's a song, everybody poops.
Yeah.
Yeah. You ever heard that? Morgan Freeman. It's a poem. It's a book. It's a book. Yeah, Shel Silverstein.
That could be.
I think. I don't know. Anyway, so also have water down. Sometimes people will take up the water. Well, then that makes the dog anxious about having water there or not. So keep water.
I don't leave a huge bowl. Okay. I leave enough to where she can wet herself a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because you don't have
there was one time
really thirsty dog.
We fed her at lunchtime and she couldn't wait until we got home and she had an accident. So.
Yeah, you kind of and that's part of record keeping is
getting to know your dog.
Getting to know your dog, and if you have a little quick, easy to keep track of record on your calendar, or a little clock or something like that you come up with, and you can kind of say, hey, we're having trouble on these days or at these times, and that gives you some where to focus your efforts. Okay, so we'll talk briefly here about, as you said, when to go out.
Right.
And you talked about, she's making eye contact with you, she's going to the door, and your dog gave really, really clear signals. You've got a close bond with your dog, and
this is what happens.
She can signal with you.
Right. This is what happens after you've gotten done with house training. They will give these signals. Now, the beginning, when you're the beginning parts of house training are more proactive. You know when they got to go.
Good point.
So in the beginning, be proactive. You take them out. You don't wait for them to ask.
You're showing them, here's how you do what we'd like you to do, where and when.
Right. It's your responsibility to head off the accidents.
There you go.
It's not up to the puppy. The puppy doesn't know anything. I just know I got to go.
Right. And as far as going, a puppy will want to go someplace other than where it sleeps. Beyond that, that's all it knows, which means all kinds of places. So you're showing it where to go. But we'll get into that. So let's roll the thing here on when to take them out.
The top of the cycle, when do you take them out? You take them out after they've slept, after they've played, after something exciting, after eating, and before going to bed. You look for sniffing, pacing, lowering their hindquarters, squatting or circling, and looking uncomfortably at you, or going to the door. Let's talk about how to get the process going. Say outside, give them a cue word.
Okay, so I think my video kind of showed a good thing about that. When we were in the yard, she just kind of circled around with her nose on the ground. That's a clear signal before house training is done.
Should be doing that inside.
If you see that,
yeah,
say, "Come on, puppy, let's go."
Let's go. That's
and
right.
have your leash where you know you got it, your house shoes. If you got to walk out into the wet grass or something,
right.
Whenever they got to go, you go.
Yeah.
And don't wait for them to make a mistake.
Right. Right.
And carry your treats with you.
There we go.
Leave them by the door or in your pocket or something. So when they go out there and they do well,
yeah,
treat them right now.
Yeah, you got it. So it's, you know, after, when they wake up, first thing in the morning, after they eat.
Just like me and you.
After the, yes, absolutely. And yeah. Okay.
Okay, after they eat.
And sometimes at night, yeah.
Sure.
Anyway, and after they eat, after activity or excitement, after they play.
You may be playing hard with the dog. You know, you playing tug of war and playing fetch. And if they stop doing that,
good point.
You know, it's like, okay, I'm fetching, and then I stop and I'm starting to sniff. Take
there
them
we
now.
go, right now. Yeah,
because they stopped their activity for a reason.
Right, right. Okay, so now we'll go into what do you do once you get outside. The how.
Let's talk about how to get the process going. Say outside, give them a cue word so they understand what it's about. Go out with them. That's the only way you'll know if they've gone. When you're taking them outside, have them follow you, clap your hands, say pup pup or their name, lure them with a treat if necessary. When they're out there, say get busy or go potty. Say that once or twice just to give them the idea. Then don't talk with them. Let them focus on what they're doing. You don't have to say come on or anything like that. Just let them focus on what they're doing. Wait for 3 minutes. Generally they prefer dirt or grass for voiding. Now we'll talk about what to do if they haven't gone after the 3 to 5 minutes. If they haven't, then you're resetting. You say, okay, let's go inside, return them to their crate or put them on a waist leash where you can supervise them, have them inside for 5 to 15 minutes, and then start it again. You reset, say outside, and start the process over and go outside. If it doesn't work on that first reset, then repeat it because you want to have the dog practice being successful rather than to practice having accidents. When the puppy's done, deliver a treat or a toy or affection to them. Take that to them rather than having them come to you, because if they come to you, they may associate coming to you that as being rewarded instead of being rewarded for avoiding. Say let's play with them a few minutes, allow them to explore the yard. So voiding is associated with reward with a treat or toy or affection, and exploration. And in that process where you don't pay attention to them in those first few minutes, and then they do get a reward and attention, they learn that the sooner they go ahead and take care of business, the sooner they get to play with you and explore the yard and have some fun, which works all around. When you take them inside, give them some freedom to explore selected areas of your
I've got a couple things. If you have a boy dog, the first time that they pee is probably not the last time they're going to go. Boy dogs have a habit of liking to pee everywhere.
That's a really,
you know, so
sound,
if they go once, don't think that you're done.
The tank isn't yet empty.
No, boy dogs are kind of like that. They like to spread it everywhere, mark their territory. Girl dogs, not so much. They'll get rid of it, and you know, you might want to linger a little bit just to make sure, but usually a girl dog is one time and she's done. And the other thing was take a leash and sort of direct them.
Go out with them, and when you first take them out, just stand there. You don't entertain them or cajole them and those kinds of stuff. Make yourself boring, and then let them sniff around or do whatever they're going to do, and after they've, like with a boy dog, gone once, and you give them a little while longer, and they've gone twice, and then have a pretty good idea that they're done, that's when the fun starts. That's when you give them the reward. That's when they get to explore the yard. What people can end up doing in an opposite way is that they go out with the dog, they walk the dog all over the place, they interact with the dog, they talk with the dog. And
so
then
now it's playtime.
Now it's playtime to begin with, and then
Right.
when the dog goes, then the dog goes back inside.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And
now
then,
it's boring. And
yeah, now it's boring. And so what dogs learn in that case is the opposite of what we want, which is they try to drag out their playtime. They try to avoid going to the bathroom outside because that's going to end their fun. So then people say, okay, look, my dog just sniffs and it goes here and there and everywhere, and then we take him back inside, and then the dog potties on the carpet. So what you want to do is the dog, it's boring for the dog until the dog has gone to the bathroom and finished going to the bathroom. Then the fun happens, and you let him be a dog.
Right.
And if you don't get a result to begin with, then you take them inside and you reset. So then you have them leashed to you, you put them in their crate, you put them in a small exercise pen where it's small enough they're not going to want to go to the bathroom in there, and then you take them out after 5 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever works, and you go through the same process outside. When you reset and you take them inside, the fun hasn't happened outside. The fun happens outside once they've gone to the bathroom.
Right.
Okay, well, let's go to talking about next about freedom once they're inside, because you've got a dog that's gone.
Freedom to explore selected areas of your place or apartment. That gets them used to feeling like those are areas that are living areas for them and you, rather than areas where they're going to go to the bathroom. Younger puppies, give them a shorter time, older puppies a longer time, because they'll have better control. Record keeping will give you some idea what's working and what was a little bit too much. After a while, you're going to be bumping up toward that time that is about how much they can manage to have physical control. So you're going to want to start supervising again before you hit that point. Leash the puppy to your waist if that works for you. They'll get used to following you around. Place them in a small exercise pen near you, small enough at least so they don't have a corner that they feel like is far enough away that they would go to the bathroom in it, or place them in a crate when you're busy. Learn about crate training so your dog is comfortable there.
Okay, well, you have a crate, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of prefer crate training. I don't know when I leave the house. I mean, if somebody's home all day long, I don't put them in the crate. But when somebody's not there, then I don't know what they're chewing on and what they might get into. They could eat some stuff that's bad for them.
Yeah.
And
you got them used to the crate, and they're comfortable in it and so forth. Probably did that by degrees and so forth. Yeah.
And one reason why I keep them on a leash when they're outside is they pick up all kinds of stuff. And the worst thing is they pick up something that, you know, they're eating just stuff off the ground.
Yeah.
You don't want to be in a thing of chase. Get back here, let me get that out of your mouth, and they swallow it, and now you're off to the vet.
That's true.
So it's better to have a young dog on a leash.
And speaking of leash outside, is go with them outside when they go to the bathroom, because that way you know if they've gone or not. If you stayed on the porch and it's dark or whatever, you have no idea whether they've gone. They come back inside, they may not have gone, and then you'll find out. And so stay with them. And
you know what the condition of their poo is.
Oh, that's good. Well, they could be sick.
They could be loose, or having problems, or worms or something. Yeah. So it's good to see what's coming out of them.
That is. You get it. It's like being a mom. It's like you take an interest in how's the poo look. Yeah. And so now we'll talk about accidents.
Okay.
Okay. So take young puppies out hourly. If a puppy starts to void inside, interrupt with a clear and pleasant outside, or hand clap, or pick them up, or say pup pup, or so and so, or hey, stop. You interrupt. It's not to frighten. then get their attention, take them outside, pick them up if you need to, lead them out with a treat, and get them outside. Once they're out there, tell them, go potty, and reward them for voiding outside if they're able to do some of that outdoors. Punishment would just work against you and your dog. What can happen with punishment is the dog will then decide that it's unsafe to void around you, and the dog will find some corner or some place where it'll void, and then house training becomes more difficult. Yeah, we have succeeded with dogs by rubbing their nose in it and hitting them and so forth. That's a testament to how adaptable dogs are. Understandably, that's what we did because that's what we were told to do. Using this training approach is much easier to figure out for our dogs.
Okay, so accidents.
Accidents.
If you see them, starting to do something, I don't know. I can't think too much. Me and my wife just kind of freak out and say, no, 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 no.
Yeah.
Go and grab them.
Yeah.
Haul them outside, and then if they
the idea is
if they continue
to
outside,
interrupt and startle, but not scare and punish.
Right.
So yeah, because if you really scare a dog and punish a dog about voiding in front of you, then they'll learn to not void in front of you, which might be somewhere in your house where you don't see them.
Right. They'll sneak off into the corner.
Now I'm going to talk briefly about the guilty look. When dogs give a guilty look, it's not like they know, oh, they shouldn't have done that. What they're reacting to is someone's understandable emotion, and they're doing appeasing behavior. They're saying, please don't be mad at me. That doesn't mean that they deserve to be punished because they know exactly what they did. We want them, training them to be successful. So thank you for watching, and Mike,
I hope this has been informative. Remember a positive approach. Tell them definitely when they're good. Be easy on them when they're not good. So go from there, and I hope you have a great, enjoyable experience with your puppy. Enjoy all those little moments of bonding.
It's worth it.
Thanks for watching.